presented and what was asked during this session. So please do record this meeting.
Okay, perfect. So
Okay,
the session
thanks.
is being recorded now. So again, I'm gonna focus this presentation on SCADA only, but if you want me to touch any other topic, please feel free to let me know, and I also want to expand the presentation to that to any other topic you want to cover. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So do you see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the client application. The client application is basically the administration interface for our system. Is the one that is being used by either the administrator or the operator if you are not using any integration with the SCADA. So over here, I'm going to connect to one of our servers in the field. So this is a remote system that we have over here in Canada, in Toronto. And I'm going to do the test using this system. So this system is a trailer. There are two cameras located in this trailer. There is one PTC camera, one of our PTC cameras. As you can see, you can use this PTC camera as an utility camera. You can move it and zoom in really, really far.
And Edgar, just sorry to interrupt. This is live. Is this live video from the substation?
That is correct. This is an actual night video from the substation. So now it's 9:30 p.m. It's already dark. So the camera is turning on the infrared illuminator automatically, so you can have a better visibility without light, like at night. So the other channel is a thermal camera. It's one of the mobile thermal cameras. I think you guys have one of these ones at the site. Um, we have configured 3 regions, and that's what we're gonna use for the example. Okay. So let me let me move this over here a little bit. So I'm gonna assume, at least to start, that you already know this portion, the thermal portion. Please let me know if you have any question after we cover the SCADA portion. We can talk about the thermal too if you want, if you have questions about it. So how do we configure the SCADA? Well, let's first talk about the communication. So for communication, you can go here in setup, and then there is an option here called edit DMP settings. So our server by default only speaks DMP3. We have additional modules that can communicate, that can be used to enable the communication using Modbus or IEC 61850. But that's an additional module. Like by default is DMP3. So when you come here, sorry, you have to select the site, the unit. In this case, we're gonna select remote site.
Edgar, hold on, time
Go
out.
ahead. Yep.
We have a question over here.
Sure.
Yeah, DNP3 will be the protocol. So that was just a question, clarification that we will be discussing DNP settings, not Modbus, right?
Exactly. So for this, we're gonna only discuss DMP settings. Now, even if you prefer to use Modbus or IEC 61850, the way it works is that the module that we add, what it does is a translation of protocol. So you still need to configure the DMP3 module in the server. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. So we select remote site and then we go to edit DMP settings. So when we do this, it opens the interface for configuration. So over here at the top left, you see that there are two options for a DMP channel. That means that our device can report to two different masters. Okay, so you can configure the communication for two different masters, and it will keep the messages for the two different masters. So we're gonna focus on one in the primary. So you configure all the communications. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with this configuration. You put the DMP address of the master. You assign a DMP address for the server, and then all the other settings you can leave it as default. But if your system has different ones, you may need to adjust them. Now, do you have any questions about these settings? These are very common settings that you configure in an RTU, for example, or in an
Hang on. So if you have all the questions, pwede nyo i-interrupt. So yes, as we understand, that part will be provided by SCADA because
That is correct. So that portion is provided by the person that configures your communication in Meralco. Okay, so this session below actually corresponds to analog points. If you disable the analog points, it will disappear. If you enable the analog points, it will show. Basically, this is how you configure the analog points too. And this is, you can configure over here the mask of the analog points. Okay. Now,
and by analog you mean the temperature readings, right?
that is correct. So if you don't enable the analog points, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do something before. Hold on. Let me because I'm using here cell phone communication, so I'm gonna stop the video streaming while we do this, because I don't want to consume too much data. So coming back here, we report two different type of points. So status points, which means alarms. Status points is basically a flag that tells you if something and if an event happens or didn't happen. And the analog points. So the analog points are the thermal readings. Okay. Now, time-wise, there is a DBS DMP setting. So you can, if you leave this as a simulated time, the timestamp of all of the events in the DBS are going to have the time of the DBS, of the windows in the DBS. You can change this. You can do read-only time. That means that the messages are going to have the timestamp of the RTU or of the master, but the time of the server is going to remain as the Windows time. Okay? The last option, read and write system time. If you select this one, that means that the server is gonna change its time to the time of the RTU of the master.
Sir, may I just ask a question? Is the server capable of receiving time synchronization from the DMP master?
Everything clear here?
Yes. And there was a question. Can the server receive time sync messages from the SCADA master?
So the server has, I think, two so far. Currently, we only accept two messages from the master, and they are related to power cycle the server. We are working on expand that to other things, but so far we only communicate messages to the master. What we
So
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, just to clarify. So far now, the time sync signal will not be sent to the server. I mean, the server is not capable of receiving time sync.
Oh, the
From the
server.
SCADA.
Yes, I apologize. Yes, if you click here, read write system time, the server is gonna sync time with the SCADA master time.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Clear. Yeah.
If you click this one, it's going to synchronize. If you click this one, it's not going to synchronize, but it's going to send the messages with the timestamp of the master. And if you do simulated time, it doesn't do anything.
Okay. Understood.
So there are the three options. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. I don't have any master.
Ang signal from master, yung naman magpapadala ng signal, hahayaan ng master ang timestamp. So may
Okay.
tatlong options. Okay.
The other information is more, it depends on your SCADA system. If you need to assign a location name, a code, those things usually go like embedded in the messages sometimes. So you can fill this up as you need. Okay. So this is the configuration side. Now the communication interface. We have 4 different options of communication. We can do serial. So for serial, you have to configure the COM. I think you guys were using serial. Am I wrong?
Yeah, right now they're using serial connection.
Right. So you already tried this, I guess. So for the serial, you select the COM, the baud rate, like all the serial communication.
Yes.
But you can also do TCP. You can do TCP with UDP, or you can use UDP only. So you just have to configure the different settings for every communication that you use.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so far, this is already communicating with
Yeah.
SCADA.
Currently, we simulated this DNP to their DNP master using serial connectivity.
Right. Perfect. So far up to here, do you have any questions up to this point?
Hang on.
Any questions, sir?
Any questions, sir, so far?
So far, none, I think.
I think
Okay, good.
I think up to here it was very clear because I think you guys already tried it and it worked for you. So up to here, it's pretty clear. Now the interesting part start with the mapping of the points. And the
All right. Up point, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why the mapping is interesting is because different to any other IEDs or even RTUs in the field, we don't have a set mapping points. Okay? It's completely flexible. Okay, we have a total of 256 available points for status points, and you can assign it to any alarm that you want in the way you want. For example, if I open, so these are the two parts where you configure points. So this is the area where you configure the status points in the DMP point list. And this is the part where you configure the analog points. So let's start with the status points, which is the simplest one. So for the status points, you click here. It's going to show you the list of all the alarms that are already configured in the DBS. It's also going to show you all the alarms that you configured in the DBS. If you do motion detection or if you do thermal, it's going to show here. Okay? Just to give you an example, there are a couple of thermal rules configured. So for now, easy navigation, the system shows you the different types on the left. So you just select thermal, rate of change, camera 1, pushing, and it takes you to the position with that alarm is. So this list here is all the alarms, either the ones that are by default or the one that you create. On the right, you have the DMP point number. So we don't have a set list. You have to create it. So you can pick what are the alarms that you want to communicate to the master, and you can decide which point that is going to be. And they can be repeated. For example, let's say that you want to assign all the alarms related to problems with the DBS or events with the DBS to point number 0. So you assign point number 0 here, you assign point number 0 here, DBS trouble. And now let's say that you want to assign any of the alarms related to video signal lost to point 1. So you can select point 1 here, You can select point 1 here and so on. Okay. Now imagine that you want to assign the thermal alarm for status change to the bushing, and you want to assign to that status point number 2. You can do it here, and you select number 2. So that's how you create a list of points in our system. So there is no set list of points. You have a list of all the alarms. You have a list of all the potential points, 256, and then you assign them. We also have the option to create the class, to put the class. So if you want to assign the DBS trouble to only class 1, you can do it. If you want to assign these ones to class 2, you can do it. You can select it to more than one class. If you don't select any class, that means it's class 0, which is the highest priority. Any questions so far?
Let me go first, Edgar. I noticed in your example you set DNP point 1 for multiple points.
Yes.
So this is really allowed by the system, like multiple points will be addressed by only one point number.
Our system allows you to do that. You can consolidate different alarms to only one point if that's what you want. You have 256 points available for you. You can assign them the way you want.
Is there a maximum number you can assign to a DNP point number?
No, you can create all the alarms that you want, and you can assign them all to point 0. So whenever they happen, they're gonna report point 0 if you want to do that.
So that means it will be an or condition for all points.
Exactly. So basically, the system is alarm or not, which doesn't give you any information. The way to configure it that gives you the most information is if you assign a different point to each of these alarms. Then you will have a complete full information. But if you have more than 256 type of alarms, then you will get you won't get enough DMP points available. You have a maximum of 256 points that you can configure the way you want. You can link to any of the alarms that you have.
I have a question. What is the relevance of this DNP point number to this system? Why do we need to set this point number, DNP point?
I didn't understand the question, sorry.
I mean, why we need to set the DNP point port for every alarm information we need to select?
Oh, okay. Well, that depends if you want to report that alarm to SCADA. If you don't want to report it to SCADA, then you don't need to assign the point.
So you mean for an alarm to be reported, you need to assign a DNP point number?
That is correct. As I mentioned before, the communication of our system to SCADA is done via DNP3. So you have to assign a link. You have to link alarms to DNP points. Other systems, other IEDs, they already come with an already predefined list of points. For example, they may have only 10 points available, and they have point 0 is system on, point 1 is trouble with the system, point 3 is digital output, and so on. Our system doesn't have a defined list. You can assign any of those points to any of the alarms, but you need to assign them if you want to communicate those alarms to the SCADA using the MP3. Did I answer the question?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Hang on.
What kinds of alarm are available, or what kinds of status alarms are available? If we set, or can we give a certain alarms?
Okay. The question from Meralco was what kind of alarms are available to be configured. So I guess there's digital and analogs.
So the alarms that can be configured, we are talking over here only about status points. So an status point, a point that can be 0 or 1. Okay, is so those alarms are the alarms or events. You can link any alarm or event in the DBS to a status point. So you can you can link the alarms of the system. So you see here DBS trouble. If something happened with the system and there is an alarm, you can link that to a status point. Analytics disable or analytics enable. If you disable or enable analytics and you want to communicate that to the SCADA system, you can do it too. Let me see what other options are here. This is a turn on PT. This is a digital output. You can link that to a status point. So you can link any of the alarm, any event. You can link it to an status point. But these status points are only the ones that are 0 or 1.
Right. Okay.
Okay. The analog points are different. We'll cover them later. We are talking over here only about alarms. And alarms are there is an alarm or there is no alarm, 0 or 1.
Okay. Hang on.
Are the status points alarm preset or pre-configured, or can we give our own status alarm?
Yeah, that I can explain. So basically, we have here a list of available points that you can choose to communicate via DNP or not. So meron tayong maraming points dito. Yung mga definition, I guess we can find out and we can define later kung ano yan. It ranges from system on, point. So we have so many lists na available alarms that we can assign.
We can, yung kung ano na yung nakalista dyan, yung alerts na pwede.
Yes, sir. But chances are, kung ano man yung kailangan yung point, may equivalent dito, iba lang yung tawag siguro. So that we'll have to find out later kung ano yun. So you can give us your list, and then we can say, oh, this is what you want from our convention.
This corresponds to.
And basically, we have available 256 addresses. So you can get. I think so, pero
sir.
bigyan na lang natin
Anyway,
ulit.
sir, re-resend ko na lang ulit, sir. Meron na ako na-resend na, sir. Nung na-create nila yung analog points na list, email ko sa inyo yun, sir. Anyway, nagsisend na lang kami, sir. Baka natak na yung.
So basically, we can configure up to 256 unique DNP points. But if you need more, there's a way to conserve yung point, like yung kanina, several points.
Several alarms.
Can be nakaparallel sa isang point.
Exactly.
Did you understand that, Edgar? No, just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. So everything clear so far?
Yeah, I think we need to provide them the list, the
List of points that
presets lists,
will choose.
list, yeah, so they can choose and they can assign which points. I believe I already sent an email regarding those analog list, complete list, and the digital.
This is the thing. There is no list. We don't have a list. They as you create alarms, they start being added here. Like the only defined status, like the only pre-existing points are probably these first 6 or these first 7. This is the system started, DBS trouble, video signal lost. Now this is a DBS 500 that only has 4 channels. The system that you have is going to show 16 video signal loss channels. The analytic disable, analytic enable, video capture disable, video capture enable. These are the default ones. Then from there, every time you create an alarm, it's going to add another line here at the bottom.
So you can add.
You can add
based on their preference.
Exactly.
You can add.
And as you add, there will be another. So now, I think there were only 10. from 11 to 63, these all are alarms that we created.
Okay.
Assignable.
So in that case, how can we add another alarm based on their preferences?
So every time, let's say that you go here, let's enable.
Mas madali pa yun eh. Sila na lang mag-add nung sa kanila eh.
So if I come here, let's say to this channel here, and I add another, and I go to thermal configuration, and let's say that I add a thermal alarm. I add absolute comparison of maximum one is higher than 30 degrees. And I'm gonna call this alarm Meralco SWI meeting.
Yung paggagawa ng sarili ninyo.
Ito yung mag-a-add naman.
As
Yeah, go ahead.
As soon as I save it, now if I come back here to DMP,
It becomes available.
it becomes available here. So basically, the question goes for you. Like, you first have to define what are the alarms that you want to configure, to create. So if I go to thermal, absolute comparison, camera 2, Meralco SWI meeting, now is available for me to assign to any of the points.
Okay.
Okay?
Makakapag-create ng custom.
And for that newly configured alarm, you can assign to a different or a new DNP point number.
Exactly. A new or to an existing, it's up to you.
Okay.
Okay? And then you can assign it to any of the classes. Okay?
So this class setting is only for prioritization?
Exactly. The
That's
class
correct.
is just the polling priority.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, you can actually, when you create all this list, you can export it via CSV if you want to import it in your master. Okay?
Okay, export, and then can you edit from CSV and import back? No.
That, honestly, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm going to ask engineering and go back to you tomorrow. I'm going to reply to you. So can I import it? Can I edit it after export?
Yeah, but for now, it's a good tool to double check if you did the addressing. But
yeah.
All right, noted.
Okay, perfect. So this is about the status points. Analog points. So for analog points, we have, actually, let me delete this one to start from the beginning. So for analog points, basically you have to tell the system, over here, you don't have to have the alarms configured in order to configure this. So this is the main difference. Let me come back. In DMP points, the alarms have to exist for you to assign it to DMP points. Okay?
Right.
In the analog point, basically you don't have to configure regions of interest. You just have to enable the channels that you want to enable the DMP point. In this case, what you have to tell is basically the channel where the thermal camera is connected. So in this case, the thermal camera is actually connected to channel 2. If I click channel 2, it will enable all the presets, but you may not want that. So what you're going to do is you're going to go exactly to the presets that you want to configure. And even in the presets, you have thermal boxes. You see, every preset you have a thermal box. So you have to decide what are the thermal boxes that you want to report to SCADA. If you want to report everything, Then you just select the channel of the camera of the thermal camera, and it will automatically select all the presets in all the thermal boxes. If you don't want that, just unselect it. Let's say that you want to send everything of the preset 1 and preset 2, and that's it. Then you just select it. Okay? And then you decide what specific how's it called, reading you want to send. If you want to send the average, the minimum, or the maximum. And then as you click, you will see that the points will start appearing over here. Okay?
Okay.
If you select the whole preset, it's gonna highlight all of them right away. Now, the DMP point region is empty. That means that you haven't assigned the points yet. You are just put them there. Now, what you can do is you select them. You click all of them. So you click in one, and then shift, and then the last one, and then you right click with the mouse, change analog points, and then enter the first number you want to start. So let's assume that you want to start for analog point 100. As soon as you click save, it's going to assign from 100 to the last one. Okay?
Right click.
So what is this DNP points refers to?
They are
Is
gonna
this just
they are gonna report the thermal readings of the maximum for all the boxes of thermal 1 and thermal 2. Remember that before, in the old configuration, the one that you tested first, the system reported all the analog points, and you didn't like that. You wanted to send only the boxes that you were interested in. So this is what we developed to help you with that. Basically, you select what are the thermal cameras that you want, you put them in this area here, and then you decide where do you want to start the counting of the points.
Edgar, just wanted to backtrack a little bit. Can you please explain further the difference or the definition of channel, preset, and thermal box?
Perfect.
In the context of
let me come back to the very beginning. So the server that you have over there can support up to 16 cameras. Okay? So the server assumes that you can have all 16 cameras being thermal cameras. Okay? So if you connect, you should, like, we are assuming that you should have capacity to support all 16 channels. If you connect all thermal cameras to all 16 channels. So a channel will mean one camera. Okay?
In the North Port case, there are two channels occupied, right? One visible and one thermal.
Well, one is video and the other one is thermal.
Okay.
So let's in this case in this server, actually, so you know what? Let me come back and let me stop the streaming. So in this case, it's channel 2, the one that has the thermal. So I'm gonna come back.
Two channels kasi nasa server natin.
So, dalawang channel.
Dalawa lang.
Ay, isang camera lang yun. Video camera. Tama. Dalawang channel yung gamit.
Okay?
Isang video sa isang live sa isang thermal. So ito daw yung dalawa. Channel 1, channel 2.
Okay. So a channel is a camera, basically.
Filter yung hindi lahat ng analog papadala.
Okay.
Tama. Sa kung ano lang yung gusto mo. All right, Edgar.
Okay, perfect. Now remember that one camera, you can have a thermal camera that is fixed, or you can have a thermal camera. Sorry. Okay.
Let me just fix this a little bit.
So you can have a thermal camera that is fixed, or you can have a thermal camera that is located in a position.
Just so we cannot hear your audios. I think there's something wrong with from our side. Let me just fix
Okay,
it.
no problem.
Pwede pakita yung technical sa support. Tagalabas.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Ano nga yung biglang
disconnect.
okay naman siya.
Parang
Ito dapat lang.
Ano ba?
Hey, Edgar, can you try to speak?
Yes, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Richard, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, Edgar. It must be a problem on their side.
Okay.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Okay.
Anong setting natin? Speakers, headphone. Ito. How about now? Can you try?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Now we're back. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
No problem. Okay. So
Okay.
we were on the channel. So we were saying that a channel is a camera. Now, a camera, you can have a fixed camera, for example, or you can have a thermal fixed camera, or you can have a thermal camera on a positioning system. I think you have a thermal camera on a positioning system. So thermal cameras that are on a positioning system, they can have presets. So they can move to different presets. Okay? So if we expand here, you see that there is an option of preset none. That means all the regions of interest that you configured in the main screen, in the main positioning of the camera, the one that has no presets. Then you have all the options of the 32 available presets on the camera. You can have up to 32 presets for each camera, okay?
Okay.
And then in every preset, you can configure up to 6 regions of interest or thermal boxes.
So this corresponds to a the thermal box
Boxes,
is
yeah.
per scene is that where the maximum 5 you can create basically 5 boxes.
Six.
Sorry, 6
The new version of the system can support up to 6
Per preset, yeah.
in a scene.
in a scene, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, and then for every system, the thermal camera is going to report for every thermal box. The thermal camera is going to report the average, minimum, and maximum temperature. Okay.
Okay.
So then what you do?
And so
Go ahead.
sorry again. Just wanted to understand the application of the preset. So does it mean that I can see we have so many presets here? Is this something that you can assign? For example, if you want the camera panning automatically and stopping for every 5 minutes, for example. So does it mean whenever the camera stops at one scene, you can assign a preset?
6.
Yeah, and you can assign different regions of interest too.
Correct, for that scene. Yeah, you can create 6 boxes.
Exactly.
So as the camera stops, so you can say like if you can configure the camera to stop like 5 times,
5 presets.
so you can create 5 presets for each of those stops.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry, one preset for each of those stops. So you can assign preset for every stop. All right,
Fine.
got it.
So basically, you can stop the camera in 32 places, different places. Okay. Now, the beauty of this, the good of this is that you can, like 2 presets can be on the same location. Imagine that in one position, in one preset, you need more than 6 boxes. You can always put the camera in the same place, but you assign preset 2 to the same location, and then use the other 6 boxes for the other areas that you want to measure, and so on.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So again, for each of them, then you have to select which one you want to report to the SCADA. So imagine that you have preset 1 to 5, and imagine that you want to report only the maximum. So you just click over here. You see in preset 1, preset 2, preset 3, preset 4, and preset 5. As soon as you do here, if you span, you will see that they select them all. Okay? Sorry, you have to select also here the presets.
Lumilipat na sa kabila. Pero wala pang assignment.
Tinatanong ko kasi tinanong nila anong importance ng DNP points ang ginagamit.
Hindi ganun din yun. Yun yung babasahin ng SCADA. Address. Address mo yung
Addressing yung tinelect natin na set.
So parang ginawa niya, sinelect niya. So ito na yung nasa-select mo.
So kung mo-monitor nila yung particular settings na yun, ito yung DNP point mismo.
Tama. Yan yung bibigay mo sa kanila para i-configure nila sa SCADA. Papakita siya.
Sir, maximum ba kinukuha natin?
Depende
sa atin.
Tama ako. Maximum lang concern nyo.
So yun yung
So from here, you can show how to assign again the DNP point.
Exactly. So once you have already selected the points that you want to send to SCADA, they will show here on the right. And now you just click on the first one, shift, click in the last one to select them all. Right click, change analog points for highlighted items, and you will change the first one. So you pick the first number. It could be 0. If you click 0, it's going to assign them 0 to 29. Now you can select a different one. You can change it, and then you can assign, let's say 200 at 200, and they will
Range,
assign.
yeah, range.
Now let's say that you want to assign a different one to the last part. You can select those ones, and then change those one to 300, and only that last portion is gonna change.
Okay.
So that's how you will basically decide and what are the ones that you want to send. And now, as you do this will be your analog DMP points for those tempers.
Okay. These are the uh, the pre-configured user-defined configuration for the analog points.
So before, remember that we have like already predefined the points before.
Itong anim na to, yan yung anim na camera.
Hindi.
Anim na box.
Di ba sa meron tayo isang
Oo,
scene,
yung
tapos yung mga boxes
Oo,
na
yun yung
natin,
anim na
yun
yun.
yung anim.
Yung preset, yun yung scene.
Presets, yung preset 1, preset 2, preset. So those are the different scenes. Tapos maximum of 6
Presets.
thermal boxes yung for monitoring per presets. So ang sabi ni Edgar, in event na more than 6 for that particular location, you can assign another preset with the same location for the additional thermal boxes.
Exactly.
So
Pwede mag-12.
yeah, pwede. Pero mag-a-assign lang ng additional presets.
Kumbaga parang ano,
Yeah, just to maximize the thermal boxes, you can assign up to 3 presets on the same location. If you need 18 boxes, total of 18 boxes. Is that correct, Edgar?
Sorry? Yeah. So
Yeah. For them to be able to monitor up to 12 or 18 thermal boxes per preset, you can assign three
three presets.
presets number location.
Exactly. So you have
Yeah.
up to 32 presets per camera. It's
Yep,
up
okay.
to you how you use them.
Okay. If more than 6, if more than 6.
18 din per piece kasi yung dalawang preset.
So, ang mangyayari dyan, sir, yung preset 1 mo, preset 2, tsaka preset 3, maximum ka ng 6 thermal boxes. So, yung 18 na monitoring ng thermal boxes, nag-correspond lang sa mapping na 3 presets pero same location lang. So, yung tatlong preset 1, 2, 3, nakafocus sa same location. Para
Preset
meron
1, preset 6, preset 1,
preset 2, preset 3.
Kasi magkakaroon ka ng another preset di ba? Yung sasabi mong dadagdagan.
Yun nga, kung same location siya, pwede mo i-assign yung preset 1, 2, 3 para makakuha ka ng 18 thermal boxes.
Ang nakita niya transformer. Marami kang pick up doon. Di ba, sir?
Hanggang 18 lang kaya.
Hanggang yung
18 box.
Since naka-limit siya per preset na 6 thermal boxes, you can assign additional presets on the same location to have yung 18 thermal boxes.
Kumbaga yung role, pipick up na natin. Assign lang nila.
Yes, sir.
Pero yung tanong namin
Kung ano yung kung may scaling or ano yung data na pinapadala ng
robot yung analog mo. So, anong unit mo?
Anong ibig sabihin nun, sir? Yung information?
42 degrees. 42 rin ba yung DMP value niya pagdating sa
Edgar?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the question is for every thermal boxes, if for example, the reading is 42 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So that it corresponds to the
what DMP raw value?
DNP raw value.
with the data sent to that RTU is same.
So is it the same value that the system will send to the RTU, the 42 degrees readings from the thermal boxes
That is
created?
That is correct. So if we come back, let me save here. So basically, if you want to send the decimals, I'm gonna go close here. So
Yep.
and I'm gonna enable here. So you see these values here. In this case, the maximum is the third one here. So this is what they are going to receive. However, if you configure,
So same.
you have to if you want to receive the decimal point, you have to properly configure these settings. Like I have made sometimes the mistake and I don't configure properly. I think it's the dead band here, and I not the dead band. Sorry, the default variation I think is the one that I made a mistake the other time and only send me the main temperature 23. Didn't send me the 6. So you have to properly configure to get the decimal. But yes, this is what you're going to receive.
Yeah. So what is this slides for? Do
Sorry?
we need to configure to be able to get the exact value? Do we need to configure this DNP default variation?
Yes, the whole value. You will get the exact. You will get the value. You will get the 23. Now, your SCADA person, the person who configures the communication to the SCADA, should know how to configure these specific things, so you can get the whole value.
Yeah. Are these numbers are default value or
These numbers are the default value. Yes, and I think the default value will send the full number. The default value will send the full number. And that's what you will get, the 23, the full number. You're gonna get it into SCADA.
So, paano yung madadala? Papadala talaga sa
Hindi, nakikita lang naman yung hindi siya kasi wala
Sila na ako.
sige sir, pag may tanong pa kayo.
Doon na lang magkakubara.
Ililipat yun.
Pero yung isang yung 18 points.
Basta sa isang senaryo, sa isang stopover, hanggang 18 daw kaya niyan lagyan. Reading.
Tapos papangalanan niya rin.
Papangalanan niya kung ano.
Kung sino si thermal 1, thermal 2. Kaya dapat may listahan.
Meron din yan sir. Kung dito meron ka ng rate na 6, pwedeng yung susunod dito yata. Hindi. Kasi mag-i-start ka uli ng ng numbering. Pero naka-preset 2 na siya. Hindi yan siya preset 2.
Okay lang yun. Ang nilang sa DP para
Oo, mag-in-assign mo na doon sir, mag-iba na rin naman eh. Dito, parehas siya ng 1 to 6. Low 1 to 6 din siya. Pero pag ginat na natin sa DNP mapping, nandun na yung 18, dito na mag-iiba yung DNP points natin. Pwede.
kung anong binulat mo pa, yung mga kailangan mo para
Pwede yung zoom. Next tama, di ba? 360 siya, di ba? Yung camera, yung pan niya.
Tanong natin.
Kasi parang yung huli natin, kaya niya.
Hanggang hanggang side eh. Pero hindi siya nag-360.
Pero kaya niya mag-360 kung walang pause.
Hey Edgar.
Yes.
Yeah, is the thermal camera can monitor 360 degrees the area
Yes.
or up to 180. So it can 360.
It can. That's correct.
It can rotate. Yeah, okay. Yeah, pwede daw natin.
The camera can move 360, 66. You can have so basically what you do is you set different presets moving around. But the camera can fully rotate.
Okay. Di ba dito sa boxes na to, pwede mo baguhin yung
Now in this case, what I'm showing to you is the main screen of the camera, which will be preset number 6. If you have
meron dito yun. Meron yan sir. Pagka pwede ka mag-assign na limbawa ito yung area mo. Pwede may set na preset 1, preset 2, preset 3. Yung sa North Port natin, nag-assign tayo ng limang scene. Ito. Sa bawat preset, meron kang tatlong Yan lang siguro ang nangyari, 18 halimbawa, 18 na analog points. So, kung gusto ka preset 1, mag-start ka ng 1 to 6. Preset 2, 1 to 6. Hindi pwedeng 7 to ano to.
Usually daw.
Hindi. So, talagang dito lang, sa mapping lang natin siya maya-add-lahat. So, yung 1 na 6, tapos yung 2 na 6, tapos yung 3 na 6. So, dito meron kang 18 na DNP points. So, dito na lang tayo mag-numberin.
1 month ang Montero.
Sir?
1 month ang shelf life ng yung recording.
Depende kasi sir sa ano yun. Hey Edgar.
Yes.
Yeah, the server has a 1 terabyte hard drive, right?
I believe the one that you have has 1 terabyte. That's correct.
Okay. How long before it overwrites the video captured? Approximately.
So, you know what? That's a good question. Hold on. I'm gonna stop here, and I'm gonna open another system, another software that is gonna help us calculate that.
Okay.
I-check na lang.
Sige sir, pag may tanong kayo para mas ang ano. Hindi ko alam yung mga ibang tatanong kaya hindi ko ma-relate.
Okay na tayo sir sa ano, paggawa ng DI na ganito.
Ganda.
Digital input. Kaya nyo na to sa
Yan sir.
Kami magbibigay ng buo na to sir. Kami magbibigay ng kailangan.
Ito ang kailangan natin para ma-create itong labing
Sa analog sir. Pero sa alarm, sa DI.
Sa
Di ba sir,
digital.
250 yata?
Ito.
Kumbaga sir, pipili lang kami dun. Kaya nyo compile din ng isang malaking para sa ano.
Pwede yun sir, kasi kung ano lang chinek nyo, yun lang yun eh. Kaya lang, siyempre may corresponding DNP, ano din siya, number eh.
Lagi na lang tayo sa zero.
So let's assume that you're
Yun na bibigay niya.
Kami magbibigay nito sir. Kung anong dudukutin.
Tama sir.
Sa analog.
Kung ano yung i-monitor natin sa ano. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So let's assume that you have a compression of VGA. Good. It's not high definition, but it's still a good image. And you are using a fairly good quality, which is H264, not so much compression, and 10 frames per second. You have 2 cameras, and two cameras. So,
Sinend namin actually sa kanila.
Yan.
So you should be able to have up to 3 months of if you have 2 cameras.
Right now, what is the standard, the default quality of the camera?
I think the default quality is so the default quality should be something around here. Good quality.
No, I mean right now the currently installed demo unit, what is the compression configuration? So we will be able to determine how long before it overwrites the data captured.
The system that you have over there.
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure, but if I have to guess, I would pick this configuration. The VGA. Actually, let's assume that you are doing 720p.
Okay.
Let's assume that you're doing 720p. And you have compression good quality, 10 frames per second. You should be able to have
90 days. 3 months?
90 days, not 90 days. Just give me a second. This software. So you should be able to have around 45 days of video.
more. So at least month and a half for 1 tera
for two cameras only,
for 2 cameras.
and using
1.5 months.
using 10 frames
Kung
per second.
720.
Using 10 frames per second.
Okay.
Di ba, before, configurable yan na at any given time, pwede niya ibago sa server lahat ng na-record niya, di ba?
Yung polling.
Hindi yung polling. Kunyari, kung ano yung na-record niya, di ba, nandun yung sa local eh. Pwede siyang periodically i-download sa server.
Ayun, hindi ko natataan yung kung pwede niyang isend. Pero pag naka-remote access ka kasi, mamomonitor, may extract mo na rin siya. Pero
yung periodically, kunyari, since 45 kesa pupunta doon every 45 days, isend natin na every month, ita-download niya yung
automatic itadump niya doon sa server.
Yung record ng video.
Hindi, naka-record naman talaga sa server.
Hindi, I mean,
Kaya lang,
mapapatungan siya after 45 days. Ibig ko sabihin, yung server na remotely sa ayaw.
Ano ba natin tatanong?
Nabanggit mo before yun na pwede siyang periodically i-download sa, ipadala yung full data sa...
Parang every month, every week. Parang ganun.
Pwede every week, parang hindi ganun kalaki.
Tapos meron kayong another server. Hey Edgar.
Yes.
Yeah, is it possible that I think Meralco wants the video captured or the data within a week to be dumped or to be stored to their another server?
Yes.
Is there
we have another server that can do that. Yes.
Periodically you can set for every how many weeks, and then it will send all the information to their another servers.
Richard can give you more information about that other system. We have a product called the archive server, which you can put that archive server on a control room, on a server room, and that archive server can have many terabytes of storage available. And then what you can do is the different servers in the substations once every few days will send all the data, the video to that.
Capture. Oh, so it's possible.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Pwede daw ka. Pwede. Can you show us the configuration for that? Is it available here?
So what you will do, no, you will have to basically get the archive server, and when you buy an archive server, you will configure the archive server to pull the data from the servers, from the DBS servers in the field. That's a different system.
So is it another device?
It's another device, yes. But basically it's a centralized device that you will configure to pull the video from the servers in the field to that centralized location.
But for this existing unit we have, the demo unit, is it possible for this unit to send all the data or the video captured to their existing server storage?
Yes. So for the existing unit that you have, you can do that, but it's a pull mechanism. The server doesn't push the video to the archive server. It's the opposite. Is the archive server is the one that pulls the video from the server. So that's why I cannot show it to you here, because the way you configure it in the other device.
So right now there's no configuration in this existing server to push or to dump all the data captured to their existing.
You don't have to do any configuration in the Edge server. So you don't have to do any configuration in the server that you have there. The configuration has to be done in the storage server.
Okay.
Sir, yung final ano lang natin ito. Yung pa-remote access natin.
Unfortunately, I don't have any remote
Okay na ba?
access to archive
Yung
system.
LAN,
I'll show you.
yung LAN port niya, di ba may IP address?
Yes, sir. Madali naman ma-configure, sir. Ito, sir, yung pa-dito. Pa-dito. Yung panang settings ng port.
Yun, meron tayong nilatag yung
BB9,
di ba?
BB9, serial.
Yung Syrian. So yun yung kakabit natin doon sa inyo para makakuha na. Pero ito, yung connection ng server tsaka workstation, IP lang yan. So meron kayo parang workstation, configure lang natin sa nasa workstation.
Pag babalik tayo doon, sir, pwede tayo magkaseto muna. PC lang muna. Laptop lang. Ano, sir, di ba? Yung nerdport. Inside natin. Parang rekta lang tayo dito. Bypass muna natin.
Yung via IP lang. So kailangan meron tayong
laptop. Pag okay, sir, try natin yung labas nito.
Doon lang din sa Northport ko, sir.
Yes, sir.
Lalabas lang.
Paglalabas sa loob.
Okay.
Kasi pag okay na tayo dito, telecom na lang usapan.
Kailan natin schedule naman na ano to? Para kapag-fresh pa.
Kaya nga. Hindi, una, sir, siyempre, yung DNP. Okay na tayo dun, sir, sa DNP. So, pwede kayo mag-create sa DNP.
Tingin na dito ng copy nito.
Ay,
para
hingi kami kayo.
ano na maaral.
Sige, sir.
Ang
Yung
dito,
dito,
sir, yung tututukan natin ng camera. Yung pick-up points natin, yung drone.
yun yung dinefine, pero pwede naman yung baguhin kung ano yung gusto.
Nag-DOC pa lang naman, sir.
Nag-set lang kami ng 5 presets. Nag-configure lang kami ng 5 presets. Initially, para lang meron tayong
Yung ano, yung reporting nung nakita overheating mo.
tanong natin. Ang laki kasi ng file eh. Pero may portion na akong binigay. Hi Edgar.
Yes.
Do you remember I sent you an email regarding the overheating event? So I sent you a video, captured video. Were you able to get the alarms or the overheating incident based on the logs on the video I sent you?
I have to check. I sent that to engineering. I have to double check with them, and then I'll answer to you tomorrow because I don't have from top of my head. I don't remember.
Okay.
Yes, I believe. I have to check. I have to check with engineering and see what they found.
Okay. Just let us know so we can provide feedback to Meralco.
No problem.
Kailangan na naman mag-safety.
Oo nga, parang standard talaga. Sige, sir.
Para ma-schedule yung safety briefing.
So yung dito, ito magagawa natin to, sir. Kasi nagagawa naman namin ito sa laptop sa office. Kasi itong server, meron na rin siyang workstation ng software doon. So, separate lang natin yung laptop, lalagyan ng ng workstation.
Yung dito naman, sir, para magawa natin, sir, to, yung para dito, kailangan natin ng file na DI.
Kaya mo bang kaya mo i-manual yung temperature, kunyari i-override siya para nag-alarm siya.
Para matest natin doon, sir.
Paano
I-focus siya.
Parang i-tweet lang yung ano.
Kunyari, asset alarm natin nasa 80.
simulation para
Yes, sir.
Para naman sa
Edgar?
Yep.
Yeah, actually, we're discussing the digital inputs and the analog inputs. Is there a way for us to simulate this on site so for them to be able to monitor the RTU level at the substation?
Yes.
Can we have a software or force? Can we force the analog points or the digital points? Can we do that for the testing on at the substation site?
Well, we don't sell a SCADA system, so the best way to test this is using the SCADA system that you guys have over there in Meralco. You probably have like a test area in the SCADA where you can probably test this.
Live. So you mean we will simulate it in an area where we can provide overheating incident?
Yeah, because we don't have what you can do is you can assign you can create thermal alarms, or you can even create the analog points over here. But then you need an RTU to receive it. So you will use an RTU from Meralco or a SCADA system from Meralco to test that you are receiving these readings or the status point.
Yun yung gagamitin natin para
Okay.
mag-trigger siya. Ibababa natin yung alert.
So within the system, you cannot provide software simulation to activate all those reconfigured digital and analog input.
No, we are like any other provider of systems in the substation. Like imagine that this is a protection relay. The protection relay sends the via Modbus or the MP3. Then you have to use a different system to test it.
Okay.
Ibaba mo na naman.
Okay.
Kasi para malaman natin kung magbawal.
Okay, just hold on. They're discussing the
Yeah, no problem.
testing at the end.
Kung ano yung hindi na test na yun. Binaril na ng test.
So I think they must have probably a lab where they test the integration of new devices to the SCADA system. So they
Kumbaga hardware.
probably can test this in the lab.
Yung na lang.
Can you repeat that again? It's choppy. Yeah.
Many electric companies have a small lab where they test the integration of IEDs, of intelligent electronic devices, and RTUs to the SCADA system before putting it into life. So they probably could test this in their lab. Like I don't know if they have one, but many utilities have this type of environment, testing environment.
Kahit kasi hindi pa natin mag-finalist yun. May email thread pa tayo. Kasi kailangan nyo na ibigay yung buo. Sabi niya, nabigay niyo na sir.
Hindi, ka-capture ulit namin dun sa ano eh. Titingin ako dun sa ano. Kasi natin yun. Sabihin natin yun. Screenshot na lang natin. Kasi yung kinapture natin yung ano.
Pero ako sir, unang tingin ko kasi di ba dito nag-set ka ng alarm sa analog mo. Magandang itambal mo na siya dito. Gawa mo na ng DI point yung alarm.
Ay, papareha. Parang nakaparallel. Ano? Maliban dun sa analog.
Pick up lang, pangalan lang ng point. Kunyari, yung isa. Yung kaninong kunyari sa isang pick up point mo, nag-alarm din. Nag-alarm na siya agad sir na.
Yun, pwede naman.
Tapos yung isa pa, yung mga failure ng camera mo. Pwede natin matest din yun. Tatanggalin lang. Pero, yun muna sir. Pre-rec muna natin sir, kailangan natin matapos ito. Pero kailangan
I-email ko muna yun. Hindi nga, titignan ko kung may mga extra hack. Kasi tinignan ko isang manual eh. Wala ka.
Iba na itsura doon.
Kasi baka maganda yung natin sa... Anyway, makupo siguro natin yung pagka na-test muna natin to. I-screenshot na lang namin per screen yung digital input list tsaka yung analog list. Para may select na po. Total, matitest naman natin sa network.
So, pag bumalik tayo sa prayer natin,
Yan muna unahin natin. Para ano.
Umayor pa rin tayo dun sa...
Kasi may software patch yung binigay eh. So, ipapatch lang ulit natin dito. Kasi naalala nyo yung kailangan natin makuha yung data. So, sinend ko yung screenshot. So, we need to perform yung upgrade or patch dun sa server para ma-capture natin yung capture data. Para natin ma-recover natin. Kasi di ba iba yung orientation ng ano eh, yung window eh. Hindi natin makita yung procedure na binigay mo.
Sige, may tanong kayo sa amin standard yung mga sa yung DIY. Mga object variation.
Ako meron kung may tanong kayo sa
Kasi pwede mo na
Regarding ano?
pag-configure ng points, yung kanina yung una yung binigkasan ng digital input. Kasi meron ng object variation sa code. Communication setting.
Edgar?
Yes.
Yeah, Meralco is just asking if you have any questions or clarification or needed information on the object variations on the analog something.
Sa inyo ka tanongin siya.
Hindi. Are there any?
Basta kayo yung kukuha dito. Pwede hindi ka dito.
Hindi. Can we access this? Saan din? Sa analog point sila?
Pati sa dito.
Can you go to the digital inputs?
To the
Can you
digital,
show us
to the status points, you mean, or the digital inputs?
digital inputs and the analog input list?
Sorry, just to clarify, we don't have analog inputs. We have analog points for SCADA.
Analog points, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Digital points and the analog
Because
points.
the system has digital inputs, physical, digital IOs, digital inputs and digital outputs. So let's go to the DMP. I just want to be clear here because with that way we can, yeah. So digital DMP points.
DNP points, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you go back to, this one, sir? Can you go back to this window?
This one?
This one, yeah.
Okay.
For a while.
Okay, sir. Ang gagamitin natin dyan, object 30.
Yeah, I think Meralco is identifying the needed default variation for them. I think the object 30 is the preferred
Object 30 variation 2.
Object 30 and then variation 2.
Digital input yun, sir. Sorry, sir. Object 1 variation 2 and object 2 variation 2.
This configuration is done by the utility, by the electric company. Like they have to adjust that to whatever they do in the system.
Object 1 variation 2.
Object 1 variation 2
Yes,
and then
object 2 variation 2.
so ito yung isa-set natin dun sa ano natin. Okay.
Tapos ito, inan nyo na itong mga ito. Kasi digital naman ito sa Rena.
So object 1 and ano lang sa inyo, sir? Object 1 and
Object 1 variation 2.
object
2 variation.
So yung iba hindi nyo kailangan.
Sa analog, DMP settings na lang lahat ng sir o sa digital na? Digital and analog na ba sir?
Is this default variation, the object default variation correspond both to digital and analog?
So if usually the ones that affect the status points are the first four. Those are for the status object 1. The ones for the analog point are object 30 to 34. 30, 32, and
Okay. That's clear.
Okay. Ito lang mga naman sir. Object 1 for digital, object 1 variation 2, saka object 2 variation 2.
Sige. So yun yung i-configure natin.
Yes,
Sige,
sir.
sir, isama
Sa
natin.
digital.
So dito lang.
Object 30 variation 2. Kahit yun lang muna sir.
Sige.
Tapos yung iba, kahit tingnan nyo na muna para hindi makagulis
Sige. Sige, doon naman natin i-configure yan doon sa
Tapos ito sir, po sa ito na video itong master natin.
sa inyo naman na to di ba? Okay.
Meron ba dito?
O kasi naalala ko to nung kinonect namin doon sa DNP master, yung simulation ng DNP master. Nag-configure kami ng DNP master address, then itong mga keep alive interval. So nag-communicate that time yung SWI at DNP master.
Wala pala siyang slave address, DNP address lang. Master address lang.
Baka sa di ba sa workstation?
Diba? Kasi DNP yung pala. Saan makikita sir kung saan port siya nakakabit? Yung sa inyo. Yung DNP port na sinasabi.
Meron doon sa likod ng sir.
May 600 lang sir.
RS-232 configuration ng DNP port. So, ang hinahanap mo yung slave.
Slave address po siya.
Do we need DNP?
Ito pala sir. Upstation yung, verify lang natin sa
So,
ito yung master. Ito yung slave natin.
ito yung master, ito yung slave.
Okay. Siya po sir. PC server yung outstation. Si RP yung...
Pero ang ibig mo sabihin yung outstation kung ito ba yung slave address.
Sir, yung pa-verify lang natin.
Edgar, is this DNP outstation address corresponds to the slave address?
Yes, the DMPL station address is the slave address.
Okay.
That will be basically will be the address of the DBS.
Okay. So just to clarify.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So ano ba sir? Ano lang, yun nga, TCP and serial, yung RS-232.
So, serial ka.
Okay. So, naka-serial connection tayo dito. Merong UDP only, merong TCP, UDP, tsaka yung serial. Pero yung ginamit natin doon kasi yung serial lang, yung doon sa simulation.
Malabas, talaga.
Ito lang talaga kailangan may natin. So yung tanong natin na di ba yung analog pinapasok na natin dito? Alala mo yun? So ito na pala yung analog
Magkaiwalay
points.
pala.
Magkaiwalay lang. Kasi yung ginawa namin kung ano yung analog points doon, pinasok namin dito sa digital. So as is na pala yung natural business. Okay, so may tanong po ba sir? Sir, may tanong pa kayo, any question or concerns? Pero yung explanation, sir, dun sa DFP, okay na tayo, no? Yung mga DFP natin. Kasi natanong ni Sir Louie yun, yung mga DFP, saka yung class.
Ayaw sila yung saka medyo clear na inabili. Kahit paano tayo
Kahit medyo blurred na. Bakit yung mata ko dun? Zinom ko na lang eh. Kasi blurred yung projector. Dapat pala kanina na-zoom. Okay sir. So ano ba, patutuloy, ano pa yung pwede na-present? Patuloy natin. Edgar, can you continue the presentation? Is there anything left you need to present?
No, that would be all that I was planning to cover today. Basically, what I presented was the how do you configure the connection to the EMP master and how you configure the points. So I don't know if you have any further question.
Any question pa sir sa operation or whatever? Para may tanong natin sa kanila.
Edgar, can you just show us again a sort of a test drive of an actual system again, the one that you showed earlier?
Sorry, what?
Just wanted to see again what the system, the live system that you showed earlier.
Yeah, of
If you can
course.
show it again.
Let me turn the cameras on.
Right.
So this connection is done via a cell phone, and sometimes it's a little bit flaky. Sometimes it fails, but well, it was really working really well up to now. So this has a thermal camera. The one here is a PDP camera that this has a higher resolution. Sometimes via cell phone it takes a while to come up.
Can you show the live video also?
Yeah, this is live video. But what I'm
No, I mean not the thermal, the visual camera.
yes, what I'm saying is that because it's a cell phone connection, sometimes it takes a while to come up.
Okay.
We'll wait.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a
Kaya hindi pa lumalabas yung ano. Kanina mabilis lumabas. Ayan.
Ayan.
But this one is slightly different from what Meralco has because
Yes,
this is a separate camera.
that is correct. Meralco has the one that is the two cameras in one. This is a separate camera.
Okay.
And
Can you just show again how yeah, all right. How to navigate and how to yeah, that's good. So pwede siyang mag-drag ng you can drag us. Tama. Can you zoom out again and show the thermal side by side with the live video? Are you yung speaker is in Canada, but this station is are you at liberty to disclose at least the location of the substation or what?
that I will leave it to Richard.
If you cannot, it's understandable.
No, but I can show you more or less the location. Just give me a second. I won't tell you the actual address, but I will show you the area because we have another system installed there. So I'm gonna enter into our IoT platform.
Okay.
This is the other product that we have.
Yeah. Gusto lang niyang pakita na. Lumang substation pa rin eh. Ayun ang mga substation natin nakapatan sa mga USB. Lalo na yung luma ninyo. Very close. So this
is our
mga bago na.
This is the substation over here.
Okay.
And if I let me actually open this. So this is Toronto. The substation is this one. Is over here.
Okay. It's also in Canada. All right.
It's in Canada.
So just to show this, the speaker is actually in his home somewhere in Toronto. We don't need your address, Edgar. But the I guess the demo system is in the SWI office, right? That you're accessing.
The demo system, no, our office is here. You see this over here, this arrow here, and the demo system is here in a substation here.
Okay. In that case, what you're showing us is the terminal in your PC or the terminal in the office.
No, it's my PC. So I live. I'm gonna show you where I live. So I live around here.
Okay. So actually, ang ginagawa niya yung computer niya mismo ang pinampopol na nire-remote na niya. Pero doon kasi sa SWI office, meron talaga nakasetup na parang main monitoring system. Na pwede. Doon namin pinapakita yung mga demo. In this case, the demo is yung PC computer ni Edgar.
So everything that I'm showing you here is from my laptop at home.
And it shows the full capability. Like if you're looking for a hotspot or trying to investigate a hotspot,
you can do it. Yeah.
You can see the orange one and then investigate further by looking at the visual camera.
Exactly.
Papantilt soon naman yun. Both.
So yung thermal imaging saka yung digital niya. Ang nag-zoom ka, pwede sumabay yung...
Okay. Good question. I maybe forgot the answer to this, but again, can you zoom with Meralco's camera? Can you zoom the thermal camera?
So the thermal camera does not have optical zoom. It has digital zoom. So you can digitally zoom I think is enable digital zoom. So you can digitally zoom, but all that it does is make the pixels bigger. But these cameras don't have um optical zoom.
Which is understandable because each thermal camera is calibrated and with it has a special lens system. May coating yung
Kasi di ba, infrared po yung ginagawa.
tama. Dapat may
May
filtering.
bandwidth siya.
So at least you can locate by using both the visual and thermal camera, the hotspot.
Yeah.
Pero ang magandang benefit nito kasi, since magkikreate kayo ng box for every scene, ulit-ulit na ipoprogram yan. Parang, di ba pa, the same condition every time, the same angle. Kahit pa ba malaking substation yan, tinitignan mo to. Consistent ka.
Auto search siya
Tama, oo.
sa mga change in temperature.
Oo. Tapos,
Sa reset.
consistent ka na paulit-ulit, yun yung point na yun ang tinitingnan, binabasahan ng temperature. So, siyempre kahit pagtao, kahit pa paano, mababago yan ng angulo or ng...
Tama. Pero kasi sa pier, kasi diba yung thermostat ng pier, pwede ka mamili ng 3 points para pag-scan ka sa isang automatic yung
Comparison.
May box din sir eh. Mamili siya sa 3 points na i-ready niyo.
Tama.
Hotspot yung tawag.
Oo. But advantage nito is it doesn't really replace manual investigation, but it can alarm you pagka kailangan ng mas deeper na para meron kang something permanent na nakamonitor substation. Pag may hotspot na medyo irregular, pwede niyong papuntahan ng tao.
Sa mga niya, kahit sabihin mo, alam mo yun, pero yung hangin, ganun yung connection,
Tama.
yung gastiness ng wind,
Mm.
na ako, may differential pa rin yung tapos na yung connection.
Tama.
Pero makisali yan sa Northport na.
Oo.
Ano kasi kanina Northport?
Hindi. So we're not yet online with the Northport. We're trying to get that online. Itong sa DN, sa SCADA. Pero I think yung Edmel, yung video ba na-access na sa from the SCADA?
Hindi pa yata.
Ay, yung link ang nandito natin.
Pero sa station lang yata yung ano.
Bernard?
Okay, Edgar. Yes, Richard.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you a question. Is the Northport site online? Is Meralco testing the actual system online?
So yeah, that's really the question that I just asked. And so the situation now is that we're waiting for the telecom to provide the channel so that they can already provide the video feed from the substation to SCADA, and also so that SCADA can configure the DNP so that they can really test drive the system remotely. But as far as local setup is concerned, it's almost almost done. I mean, I think it's waiting for one firmware update. Right. So what needs to be done on the server is the latest firmware update. I think Edgar knows about it, and then they can already connect it to the SCADA office.
I see. So that we're getting close to the final stage.
Right, very, very close.
Yeah, Richard, this is Rex. Yeah, I think we need to simulate the server and the workstation locally. They already provided us the E1 link, I think the 2 megabit link. So we will do the testing at the workstation side, substation side. I think I need I already downloaded the firmware, but I will be needing the passcode So we will be configuring another laptop. We will just send an email for the passcode.
Yeah, no problem. We can
For
give.
the yeah. I just send the email for the passcode.
You need to get the firmware?
I already have the firmware for the server and for the workstations.
I see. Okay.
Okay. So the 2 megabit link or the bandwidth allocation, I think it's more than enough, right? For the remote access to the server.
Sorry, what was the question?
The 2 megabit link. I think Meralco Telecom's already provided an E1 a 2 megabit link
For
for the workstation and the server.
so that will
For the remote, yeah.
that will give you that's all that your IT provides you, and that is for SCADA as well.
Yep. Again, what's that?
Is that the one also for SCADA or that's only for video?
For all.
Oh, both, I think. Is it enough, the 2
That's too low.
megabit link?
That is too low. Yeah.
What is the recommended bandwidth that you would require? That you
Dedicated.
would suggest?
It depends. So you can use this one. You can use the D1 only for video. It will give you probably access to 2 channels simultaneously if you are not using high definition, but definitely not if you are using SCADA too, because that might affect your SCADA communication. Video is
Yeah,
very,
but
video is very heavy.
yeah.
So what is your recommended bandwidth allocation so we can
So
request to Meralco?
so for a proper video streaming, let's say something around if you are using a high definition, you will need a, like 720. If you're using 720p, you will need at least 3 mbps per channel. If you are using
3M.
if you are using VGA like high resolution but not high definition, you probably can get away with 1 mbps per channel.
So in other words, you would require at least about 10 to 20 meg.
For the video for video system, if you want to transmit like real-time video with a good quality, you don't need the highest
Yeah.
quality if you don't have to, right? We can provide you with video with a little bit lower quality, and then later you can get the higher quality on the recorded video. But I will not recommend never to use a D1 if you are sharing that with the SCADA. I won't recommend that.
So basically, including the SCADA and the 2 channels,
Yeah.
would 10 to 20 meg suffice?
Yes, that would be enough. 10 to 20, that would be enough.
So we're already running 720p, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Ano yung bandwidth? Ilang A1 yan?
Ha?
Ilang A1?
Alin? Yung 10?
Kasi yung 2.
Lima. Limang iwan. Hindi. IP naman yun.
I-request kasi ang binigay nila.
20 meg muna para complete. 20 meg. Hindi. Kasi dalawang video. Yung isang iwan, isang video. Kaya dalawang video na i-hide. Ay, di po. Sila magbigay ng ID.
So, may tanong ka sir o ano, pwede natin silang
Siguro yung schedule na lang.
Para sa Pero sa akin,
Tama. So I think we can conclude this if you guys don't have any more questions to Meralco. The next activity will be to schedule the immediate commissioning or recommissioning reconfiguration so that Meralco can finally have this test drive, if you will, from the SCADA master and from the monitoring station that they set up for the end users of the system, which will be the substation maintenance people.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
So,
Okay, is there, anything from our side that we need to do to get the next step?
yeah, so that's currently being covered by, so Rex will be the point person if he's already setting up the plan for the next substation configuration. So, and Morocco said it is being scheduled as soon as possible while this seminar is still fresh.
Okay.
So, all right. So with that, I think we can thank Meralco IECI and also SWI. Edgar, thank you very much for your patience. Richard,
You're welcome.
likewise. So we're getting there. But Morocco, I think it's safe to say that they really appreciate that the system could be helpful to them. But yeah, we all look forward to them seeing the actual system being tried so that they can find it more. But so far, yes, they like it, and it's just making the technology work for us and really have it accessible from their office.
Okay, well, thanks, Bernard. Thanks to IECI and Meralco for continuing to pursue the pilot. I know it's taking a long time, but I think we're making some progress.
Yes, we are. And Edgar, if you will, later on, you can send the link to the recording of this session so that if they need to review, they can download the video.
No problem. I'll do that.
All right. So good night. It's already 11 past 11 midnight or 11 p.m. for you guys. So good night to you.
Good night.
Okay.
Have a good day over there.
Yeah, thanks much,
Yeah.
Bernard. We'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.